Hello, and welcome to another episode of Live with Chef Heff. Today we're going to be making chicken cutlets, fried chicken cutlets, with a vegetable medley rice, using all these ingredients. First off, I want to say I apologize for the no commentary on the last video. Apparently everybody likes to hear my voice. And secondly, I want to say, if you've ever watched any of my episodes, basically I just kind of throw everything up into a pot and see what sticks, and this is basically going to be no different. So instead of traditional water and rice and everything, we're going to be using French onion soup for the base of the rice. I'm going to be boiling the carrots and broccoli first into a pot, get that all nice and cooked first, and then from there we'll see where the next step is. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is put some water into this pot, boil up the set it to a boil, put some sugar in it to give it a sweet flavor, and boil that up. Then we're going to put the carrots and the broccoli in there for about 10 minutes and let them cook through. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to cut this humongous carrot, I think it's huge, into very small pieces. Cut up the scallions, cut up the onions, and whatever else I see fit. Okay, so let's get started. So the water started to boil, so I put the broccoli and the corn in there. I'm going to cook that for about 10 minutes. It's really not for some kind of flavor or anything. That's why you can mix them both together, because they're both going to go in with the rice. And then as you see, I cut up the scallions, the onions, and that huge carrot. The reason I'm using a French onion soup as my broth is because I forgot to buy chicken broth, and I bought French onion soup for something else, but I ate something else and forgot to make that, so waste not, want not. So while I'm waiting for these, I have to clean up the mushrooms. I'm going to put those on, and then in 10 minutes when the water's done for the corn and broccoli, take that out, cool that down, then cut them up, put them into a bowl, put a little seasoning on them before we start with everything else. So to bread my chicken, what I use is I use 2 eggs, whisk them thoroughly, then dip them in Italian style breadcrumbs, put them aside, and then I'm going to fry them up just to get a coating on them, nice brown coating, and then bake them in the oven for about 25-30 minutes. So now that these are done, turn off the water. I'm going to take them and put them in a bowl just to keep them cool, get the water out of them. Nice big piece of broccoli. Decided to go fresh on this today. Mostly fresh, except for the French onion soup. Get everything nice and drained. Put it in the bucket. When this cools down, we'll shuck this and cut the corn right off the stalk. Two leftover broccoli crowns from the previous meal. Again, try not to waste anything. Okay, so that's all taken out. I'll wait for that to cool for a little bit. While I'm doing that, I'm going to bread the chicken, plate it to the side. This way we can have everything ready. So this is how I bread the chicken. I dip it in the yolk, get it nice and yolky on both sides. I'm not sure if that's a word, but we'll make it one. Flip it over, Again, just make sure it's fully coated. Take it out, let the yolk drip a little bit. And then we're just going to put it right onto the breadcrumbs. Kind of pat it down on one side. On the other. And kind of bury it. And then flip it over and bury it again. So it gets fully coated on both sides. And then just leave it to the side for when you put it in the fryer. And that's a breaded chicken cutlet. A couple more to go. And then we'll start with everything else. So all the chicken is breaded. Corn is shucked. The broccoli is cooling off. So now all I have to do is just take the corn off the cob, put it in with the vegetable mix, and cut up the broccoli, and then we'll get ready to put everything together. So being that this is a large amount of vegetables and there's only 2 little things of French onion soup, probably gonna have to add some water and some other stuff to it. But right now what I'm going to do is turn it on to medium. I'm gonna put the, oh yeah, definitely gonna have to add some stuff. Put the French onion soup in. Yeah, that's gonna absorb real quick. And I'm going to let that heat up for a little bit. Then put all the vegetables in. Put some water in, some Worcestershire sauce in, and just a lot of doctoring before I put the rice in. So let's see how it works. So this is the French onion soup, all the vegetables, and 2 cups of water, because it definitely needed it. So I'm gonna let this cook for a little while. I'm gonna start the oil on for the chicken, and once this cooks and get nice and hot, I'm gonna pour about a quart of rice in, and then cover it up for about 30 minutes. Should be good. So I have a little bit of oil in the pan for the chicken to fry. I put about a quart and a half of rice in here. Then I reduced it to simmer, and I'm covering for about 30 minutes. Once this gets hot enough, I'm going to start putting the chicken in, get that fried, and put that right on the other tray just to put it in the oven for about 25-30 minutes. And then we should have a nice dinner. So frying these should be fairly quick because they're very thin. So I'm going to place them here for, just to coat them, and put them right on this plate here. And once I do that, put them right in the oven. So here we go. Hopefully we hear that sizzle. There we go. Should be pretty well cooked. It's about 300, 325 right now, the temperature of the oil. Just kind of cook it. I don't know if you can tell that it's getting a little brown right now. Yeah. Get a nice golden brown. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Take that out. Put that there. Start another one. Again, that was maybe what, 10, 15 seconds? Maybe 30. Place it in. Let that boy bubble. Get that in there for a little bit. It's basically all you need. So, another one done. This works well with fish also. Again, just lightly coating it. Put it in the oven, bake it, get that nice and juicy. Just keep on, as you put more in, you know, while the oil does cool down, you could still, I mean, it's still pretty hot and it still gets a little hotter. So as the temperature goes up a little bit more. Take that one out. Probably the best looking one so far. Put that in there. Put another one. Again, you want to make sure you don't splash it. Make sure you don't want to drop it in there. Splash the oil. So you got about one, two more after this. So the whole thing might take you 3 minutes. Try and drain it as much as you can. You'll still oil. So we got 2 more. Put it in nice and slow. Get this one more. There's a little bit of extra breading, so just bread it up a little bit more. Try and use whatever you can. It's good also with, like, if you do this with French fries. I usually do this with home fries in the morning for breakfast. Tastes really good. Got a nice golden brown. Put that in. One more. Then we're going to put this in the oven. It's at 350. So for 20-25 minutes. Maybe not even, because I said these are pretty thin. You know, just to get them cooked all the way through. And then, by then the rice should hopefully be done, and you have yourself a nice meal. So the oil cooled down a little bit, so this one takes a little longer. Flip it over, only for a couple of seconds, just to get that top part. I don't know if you can tell, but you can tell the oil is starting to burn because it's getting a little too hot, so it's getting a little black. It's supposed to keep it at a steady heat, which this isn't. So, but, well, it's all done anyway, so do that. Turn the oil off, move it off the hot burner, and we take this, throw it right in, put it on the middle rack. I said maybe even 15 minutes. Those are pretty thin. Then we'll see what we have. So my timer was a little off on the rice. Instead of 30 minutes, I did it for 15, and it absorbed all the water, so looks pretty good. Took it off the heat. Gonna let that sit for a while, at least until the chicken comes out. Try it out, and should be good. Looks pretty good. So it's time to take the chicken out of the oven. So the rice is already out. This is definitely cooked. Gonna let that sit. But I'm going to show you a plate real quick. Show you how it's going to look. I think it looks pretty good though. So you got to plate it nice and soft. Oh yeah, that looks good. You still hear it sizzling. Get some rice. Rice is pretty good. I tasted that already. And there you have it. Chicken cutlets with vegetable rice, or multi-vegetable rice, or however you want to call it, made by Live with Chef Heff. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to turn the oven off now. So anyway, this is another presentation from Live with Chef Heff. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, and share on the tabs below. And have a good night.